I think that the UFO story, the whole reality about the UFO phenomena has to be told to people because it's all about people. It's people who have been subject to the sightings. It's people who have been abducted. It's people who have had the contact. So people must know what's going on. No way a government from anywhere in the world should have the right to keep those information secret. People have the right to know what is happening because at the last level, it's people who has been taken. If someone gets traumatized after an abduction, it's people. If someone gets scared because of visitation, it's people. If someone gets scared because their car got chased, pursued by UFOs in the middle of the night, it's people. So it's for the people that we should release that information. We all should force the government to release that information. Our work, the UFO researchers, the real UFO researcher, he has this goal of not only learning as much as possible about the UFO phenomena, but at the same time to share this with others. I have known no real UFO researchers that haven't this kind of conduct because it's mandatory. As honest you are with your principles as a UFO researcher, you have that thing you have to share. This is why you do conferences. This is why we do magazines, we do books with that. Some of this business generates some money, no problem. It's a legitimate source of money, but 99% don't. And still the UFO researchers who don't make any money out of this keep doing that. Why? Because this is in their blood, this is in their life, this is something that they have to do. And both things come side by side. Research, learn as much as possible, but also share that with anyone you can. This is absolutely mandatory. No way you can do a good UFO researcher without these two things. Well, the Varginha case is probably the best well-documented case that we have in Brazil and probably in the world. Yeah, you know that over 80 witnesses came forward, first-hand witnesses came forward during the first weeks, and they are still coming after it happened. During all these years, we still keep getting witnesses that come forward and tell us pieces of the big story that we know that comprises the capture of at least 2 alien creatures in the city of Varginha. Now, Varginha is a small town in the state of Minas Gerais, not far away from Rio, not far away from São Paulo, but it's a small town, like 110, 120 people, 1,000 people. And this case that happened in January 20, 1996, really turned everything upside down. We know for a fact, because we have it all documented, plus the witnesses have confirmed and cross-confirmed that one alien was captured in the morning of that day, which was a Saturday, about 10:30, by a fire department and some personnel from the army. It was captured with nets, just like they used to capture wild dogs or monkeys, whatever, or some wild animals. And that approach towns. This is the first one. Another creature was seen at the same day by middle afternoon by 3 girls. It was them who called the attention of all the city to the fact that strange creatures have been seen. Because when the first one was seen and captured in the morning, it didn't draw too much attention. But at the afternoon, when the girls saw another creature and then spread the word to everybody, we saw the devil, that's what they thought they saw. Then all the people sort of like, oh, there's something going on. And the police forces and military forces that were since the morning trying to find other creatures One have been captured. Another one stayed at large and was seen by the girls in an empty field. They sure supposed that that one could be also be captured at any time, and probably other ones. At that night of the Saturday, January 20, 1996, that second preacher, probably the same one saw by the girls, was also captured by a police troop, a police car, actually a military police car with two policemen inside. The one who was sitting in a passenger seat was Marco Elixerezi, a young guy, 23 years old, plenty healthy. He was on a leave at that day. He was not working. He was called upon to work and to join forces with other people to try to see anything strange and capture anything strange. And he was lucky enough to be the one who spotted the creature and grabbed it with his own bare arms, bare hands, got back to the car, put the creature in his lap, and took it to the hospital. But he was very unfortunate because 25 days after that, he died on February 15 of some bacteria attacks, proving that his immunodeficiency system was absolutely destroyed. And Army personnel and authorities kept it all secret for lots of time until the UFO researchers started protesting along with the press, and we did so much pressure that eventually information was released about it. And now we have very serious stuff. We have been in touch with the doctor who treated this man in several of the hospitals that he has been in, and Hospital Bom Pastor, Hospital Regional, and the city of Varginha. And he gave us a full report about what happened to the man. And he is amazed that in less than 20 days, the man was attacked by 3 different bacteria. His immunodeficiency defense system was absolutely destroyed. The boy had an abscess or a furuncle in the armpit, in his left armpit. It was hurting a lot. He first went to the doctor in his corporation, he's a military, and he was treated with some local medicines, and then he was sent to a hospital later because the furuncle or the abscess would not go away. He went there, he took medications, he did some exams, he was sent home. But he kept coming back to the hospital because he was not feeling well. On February the 10th, he went back. On the 11th, he has to be taken in. He was hospitalized and kept in. So several examinations were conducted, including an HIV test with end result negative. After that, this man started getting worse and worse. By 14th of February 2006, this guy was taken to the intensive care unit. And in 6 hours, he was dead. He was buried immediately in a closed casket. And the family was denied the right to have the death certificate for 1 year. And when it finally got it, it was absolutely changed. Everything was changed. No known cause of death. No known symptoms were described. Nothing. Nothing that will give the family any relief. If you compare Roswell to Virginia, you see that Virginia has a lot of advantages up on Roswell. Like Roswell happened like 60 years ago. Virginia happened less than a decade. Roswell started being investigated 25 years after it happened by accident. Virginia started being investigated the next day it happened. And the main investigation took place in the first weeks. In Roswell, where are the witnesses now? Almost dying. Most of them already died of old age. And we don't have any new or fresh information for like 10 years or so, or 15 years or so about Roswell. While in this same 10 years, we keep having information after information, witness after witness about the Varginha case. Plus, unlike Roswell and Varginha, we have still on duty military who looked for us to give voluntarily information about their role in the capture, the transportation, the taking care of both creatures. Now this is very unique. They come to us risking their lives as if we agreed not to reveal their names, but we have on tape. We do have their interviews on tape, which of course are on very safe places and will never be disclosed until we are absolutely certain that these men's lives, these men's careers, whatever, are safe if we do so, and we will only do so if we have their authorization for that. I live like 1,000 miles from Varginha. I took part in some phases of the investigation. In front of the investigation, as an arrowhead, was Dr. Birajara Franco Rodrigues, who's a lawyer, who's also a college professor of law. And he lives in there. And you know what's more interesting? The case happened a few blocks from his house. Plus, Birajara is not an ordinary UFO researcher. Not at all. He's probably one of the best head level we have UFO researchers in Brazil. He's one of the top. He's been the co-editor of the Brazilian U.F.O magazine for 15 years or so. We are friends. He's almost my age. We started together this when we were teenagers, and we are friends. We talk almost every week. This guy is really a great UFO investigator, and he was joined right in the first weeks by other very good worldly leveled UFO researchers, such as Claudeir Covo, such as Marco Antonio Petit, such as Vittorio Pacatini, and a few others, who got together with over 20 to 30 UFO researchers in a long-term joint venture investigation that lasted weeks. They have turned the Varginha upside down, looking for new witnesses, looking for new facts, looking for everything that could come forward from that. And they eventually got a lot of things, including, so, to come to your question, this military, when they realized that what was going on was very serious, they voluntarily decided to look it for us. Given that they were taken as anonymous, they are taken, their identity will be kept secret. Now, these guys, when they approached us as a team, we ensured them that their identities would remain absolutely secret, but we demanded that they show us their ID, so we know that they are who they say they are, and they were who they say they were. And something is very interesting, that colleagues, mates from the same corporation, who took different roles in the capture and the transportation procedures, came to us, and they don't know about each other. They came to us in different situations. One don't know that the other have also come to us. No, this is very unique. Right now, we are dealing with a new amount of very astonishing information that is coming forward gradually, but we already have a lot of information. It comes from a doctor who doesn't want to be identified, unlike the other one who treated Marco Elixerez. This one don't want to be identified. He's a long-term orthopedic surgeon in Varginha, and he was at the hospital, regional hospital, when the second creature that was captured by Marco Elixerez, the guy who died, was brought in. He saw some military movements here and there. All of a sudden, there was a lot of military there, and he was asked to take a look at something. He went to a room, and when he got there was an alien creature of a format that he had never seen before. Part of it is still in secret because We have been very successful to gather information, to put things together in the first days, in the first hours, first days, first weeks. Because the army who was in charge of the captures, along with the fire department, wasn't yet ready to start cover up in it. They were late. And because they were late, they was disorganized. We took advantage of that because we could work fast, much faster than they could cover up their things. Now, when they got structured and they got their cover up in action, it became harder and harder to get information. But it was on the second to the third week to the fourth week. Up to the third week, we still could get lots of information. The most important, the hardcore, right, of this information, the nucleus of this information. Then we kept adding things that would come eventually, day after day after day, until now. We keep getting stuff, we could keep getting information. So what started big is getting bigger and bigger. And there is no way authorities can deny what happened because we have it fully documented. We know the names of everybody involved in anything that took place in Varginha. So they can't just simply say, oh, you don't know anything. Oh, yes, we do, because we have the names, we have done our homework pretty well. We have started a campaign in Brazil, which is the first time it is done. The campaign is a big movement. It's a petition to the government. It is called UFOs, Freedom of Information Now. Throughout this campaign, we hope that to sensibilize our government, our military, to come forward with information about UFOs, especially about 3 cases. We don't want all their files. Oh yes, we do, but we will be satisfied with the 3 things. Operation Saucer in the Amazon in 1977. The official nights of UFOs in Brazil, which is very similar to what happened in Mexico City, and in May 1986, when 21 UFOs were involved in chasing with jet airliners and jet fighters from the Brazilian Air Force. And the third one is the Varginha case that happened in January 1996. We're asking the government to come forward to release these files. We already have 24 to 25 signatures, and very probably we get 30,000 very soon. So honestly, I really don't believe that the government will release the Varginha files, at least for 30 years. I tell you why it was stronger in my country. Because I have a good team, and we're working day by day, without stops, to make, first, people realize that we have been visited, and we are being visited by several civilizations that are from outside here. Second, we're trying to mobilize these people, once they have the knowledge of that has happened, to force the government in some way to open its files. So when the Mexico wave happened, that was a great surprise for all Brazilian UFO researchers.
The Air Force in Mexico recorded UFOs, that the video was given to me, and I released that to the world. In that case, that happened on March the 5th, 2004, the soldiers were able to record something that they couldn't see with their own eyes. And that's amazing. That was the first time someone recorded something that they weren't able to see.
I guess for many other researchers from all over the world. But we couldn't let that chance go. So immediately we got all the material. We got material from Jaime, we got material from Santiago, some stuff came from you, some stuff came from independent UFO researchers and Mexico, and we got it all translated. We got the pictures of General Vega releasing the information to Jaime, the interview that they have done, and everything. We got to say, see, if Mexico did it, why can't Brazil? After that, we came up with something more general, Like if Mexico did, such as Uruguay did 26 years ago, Chile did 8 years ago, Argentina did 7 years ago, why can't Brazil? Brazil is the 5th economy in the world. Actually, sorry, Brazil is the 5th territory in the world. It's like the 8th or 10th economy in the world. So we are a big country. If other countries that are smaller than us, like Uruguay and Chile, have done it, why not Brazil? Besides, we lived a dictatorship for some time. And now, after some presidents came over, the dictatorship was over. We had this new president. Right now, we have a guy who's from the people. He's the President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. He was opposition. He's a worker, a Labor Party, and he's in power. I said, come on, this is the guy who can make things change in Brazil. This is the guy. This is the kind of president that can make things change. Because right in the beginning, when he was starting, he was together with people who demanded freedom of information for several other things. He never cared about freedom of information in the UFO field, sure, because it's not his field. But he was in the process of forcing those governments from 20 to 30 years ago to start a democracy in our country. Now we have a democracy. This man helped to settle the democracy in Brazil. This man was one who fought for it. I believe that he's sensible. Some of his workers, some of his ministers, some of his staff are sensible. We have been contacted by one of them. I believe that we're going to have, till the end of this semester, very good news from the Brazilian Army, Brazilian Air Force, and Brazilian Navy regarding UFOs. I'm very glad to say yes. See, when we started this petition, we started with nothing. But we have documents from the Brazilian Air Force, Army, and Navy about UFOs. So the first thing we did is, let's scan them all. Let's scan, digitalize, get in PDF format, at least 500 pages of documents. We have so far 430. It's all open on our website, which is ufo.com.br. Anyone seeking information about UFOs in our official level in Brazil can enter our website, can go there, download the documents, and there is no way the Air Force can come and say, we don't research UFOs. Oh, no, sir? Excuse me, but what does that document tells us? With the rubber stamp saying secret or confidential, with drawings made by the Brazilian personnel when they were investigating UFOs in the Amazon, or in the interior of Minas Gerais, or in the interior of the state of São Paulo, including UFOs landed with aliens on the outside. Come on, we have it all.